Okay, so we are kicking off week 5, module 6. And it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, but bear with me, it all fits together. We're going to be talking about the idea of whether human beings actually make choices out of their own free will, or is there something that determines the choices that they make, which robs them of any real free will? So that's a philosophical question that's been around forever, but it has gotten a little bit gnarlier with the birth of AI. So thrown into this is a good bit of technology. So our readings, the content for Module 6 is a mishmash of that. This is a discussion about the more historic layers of the debate over free will and determinism that range from philosophers who believe that we are absolutely free, that every choice we make is an expression of our free will, all the way over to philosophers that believe in no way are human beings free. Our very bodies are composed of particles that must conform to the principles of physics, and therefore, in no real meaningful sense, are the decisions we make all that free. Now, it depends on what you consider to be important decisions, right? I mean, in one sense, you could see why somebody could win the argument that our lives are completely determined. For example, does any decision we make matter if, in the end, according to the laws of science, biology, genetics, physics, we're going to die, right? So basically, what happens between our being born, not our idea, to dying, not our idea, really doesn't matter. It's all really determined, the beginning and ends determined. So does anything in between really make any difference? Now, there are people who argue that it most certainly does. That, and we'll come to this when we talk about the meaning of life, right? So in between here, being born and dying, stuff happens. Now, how important is that quote unquote stuff, right? And what amount of influence do we have on that? And so you could see why there's a lot of murkiness around this issue. Declaring that everything is determined for us can seem like a cop-out when you confine it to birth and death, right? But also saying that everything is our own choice might be a stretch as well, because we, for instance, don't have any control over our own birth, its place, who we're born to. We don't even have control over what our name's going to be. So there is a group in the middle called compatibilists that believe, yeah, a lot of things, including the beginning and the end of our lives in a general sense, are determined. But there are free decisions we make, decisions we are free to make between the birth and the death that have a profound effect on the meaning of our lives. And that anything else is background noise, right? Those decisions which we are free to decide on have really precedent over everything else. So, the argument for complete free will or complete self-determination, those are arguments that generally can only be won with special conditions. When you get down into the messiness of life, the fact of the matter is, it's probably a little of both. That's my own opinion, and you'll find some of that opinion among the compatibilist. But you'll also find the hard determinists, and you'll find the complete free willers, like Jean-Paul Sartre, for example. All right, now inner AI. Inner AI in all of its forms. So AI is not just one thing. You'll learn about that. There's a quick presentation with audio right here where I'm walking you through a presentation on philosophy and AI. So you'll see how there's more than one flavor of AI. There's the basic automation of processes that we've been doing for 50 60 years are basically their conditional orientation of processes. If this, then that. It's pretty dumb as far as technology goes because it's just a set of if-thens, then that type logic. Then you move into algorithms. Well, these down here that automate processes, they're algorithms. They just aren't self-learning algorithms. So they are formulas. But we move into another area called machine learning algorithms, and this is what powers social media. These algorithms, yes, they're programmed and taught in models to do certain things, and there's still some arguments, and you'll hear about that argument in a couple of different places in the content. There's still an argument about whether these machine learning algorithms are actually intelligent. But the fact of the matter is, if they're not intelligent, they certainly mock intelligence pretty convincingly. But they basically have a model that they've learned, and then as they go out they're used out into the wild, for instance, to monitor what you like to watch on your social media feed, and in order to keep your eyeballs on the screen longer so they can sell more of your time to advertisers, those algorithms learn that you and a whole bunch of people like you tend to want to go to this type of content, and if it puts that kind of content out, it'll keep you on the screen, but yet if it puts this other kind here, you're gone, right? You're out of there. And so it learns as it goes, no more of that content, all of this type, to keep you online. So it learns as it goes. And in fact, you will hear in this docudrama right here that you should watch called The Social Dilemma, you'll hear people that have created these algorithms talking about the fact that after they've been out in the wild for a while, no one at Google, Facebook, any of these companies actually knows what the algorithm's going to do next. It's operating in an autonomous fashion. Again, is it an agent? Does it have free will? That's a little bit of a stretch, I think, but it certainly is autonomous, if not acting as an agent. So we're going to talk about technology, and ultimately as we move through just dumb algorithms to machine learning algorithms to narrow intelligence, which are things like large language models are narrow intelligence, actually, even though they look pretty magical. But ChatGPT is following a formula. It doesn't actually know what it's telling you. It's following an algorithm that puts words together that it's learned in its model on how to answer these questions. It's not intelligent per se, though in this podcast, AI is AI an existential risk. My buddy, he's not a friend, but I consider him a buddy because I listen to a lot of this podcast. He does a really good job. He will argue that it is intelligent. I think he's wrong. But I also think that at some point there's a really good chance that these machine learning algorithms that exhibit narrow intelligence, for instance, answering your questions is a narrow form of intelligence, that these could converge into artificial general intelligence. And artificial general intelligence is artificial intelligence that thinks and acts like we do. It can associate multiple things, it can do multiple things at once, etc. There's one other category called artificial superintelligence, and that is kind of the end game. It's what all the movies are made about, it's Terminator. It is the ability of artificial intelligence to operate at a capacity that is 1,000,000 times faster, smarter, more capable cognitively than we are. So anyway, the question becomes, already machine learning algorithm is manipulating human beings, is taking away human choice by teaching us that if we do certain things online, we'll get dopamine hits. This is a true thing. We get dopamine hits in our brain. And dopamine is basically a physiological form of heroin. It makes us feel great. It's not actually the compound heroin. I'm just saying it makes us want more of it. And that's what's really going on in social media. That's what the like button's about. But now if you take that and make it artificial general intelligence, then how much more of our lives are we going to give away? And if we ever, and we will at some point, see artificial superintelligence, I mean, why wouldn't you turn the whole world over to that kind of intelligence? Because it knows way beyond what we know how to run the world. Now, the reason you wouldn't is you will lose most of your free will, right, if you've not already. So if you don't believe you have already. So anyway, that's the general gist. These are the assignments. I think they're all pretty clearly delineated here. If they're not, let me know. Give me a call. And I'm sorry, probably better just to send me an email. And it can be campus email or it can be through Canvas, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can so that you're not sitting around waiting to get the work done that's due this week. All right, take care. I hope you have a good week. So long.